Fresh economic woe for SNP Scots growth just a third of rest of the UK. Critics accused the SNP of complacency as the fragile growth rate threatens to overshadow a potentially awkward party conference for Nicola Sturgeon. GDP figures for April to June showed a rise of 0.1% north of the border, compared to a 0.3% increase recorded across the UK. They were released on the day after Scottish ministers announced a fracking ban that could further damage the economy, costing 3,100 jobs. While Scotland's services sector, which makes up the bulk of the economy, grew by 0.7% in the second quarter of 2017, production fell by 0.7%, while construction slumped by 3.5%, this sector being in decline for 18 consecutive months. Scottish GDP was 0.5% higher than it was in April to June 2016, but, over the same period, the UK economy was 1.5% up. Scottish Secretary David Mundell said, "It's more important than ever that our two governments work together to improve Scotland's economy. The UK government is investing in Scotland. Now, the Scottish government needs to use the considerable levers they have to increase prosperity." Labour economy spokeswoman Jackie Bailey accused the Scottish government of complacency. She added, "The growth figures are anything but good news. They show almost no growth in the Scottish economy, and particularly disappointing figures for the construction industry." The complacency of the nationalists, who have hailed these figures as good news, is breathtaking at a time when the Scottish economy remains on the edge of recession. Economics expert Professor Graham Roy, director of the Fraser of Allender Institute at Strathclyde University, said the figures continue to show just how fragile the Scottish economy is. The expert added, "On the one hand, continued growth is clearly welcome, and on the back of the strong growth in Q1 2017, we always said that holding on to some of these gains would be a success in its own right." But construction continued to decline for the sixth consecutive quarter, while manufacturing also slipped back. Initial figures for the first 3 months of this year suggest that GDP in Scotland had grown by 0.8%, staving off fears the country could go back into recession. However, that data has now been revised, with the increase in GDP scaled down to 0.6%. Economy Secretary Keith Brown stated, "Today's figures are good news, showing the Scottish economy continuing to grow. Additionally, we are seeing strength in the services sector, particularly good news given that it is the largest part of the economy in terms of turnover, value added and employment. This, in addition to our record low unemployment and record high employment rates, is evidence that the fundamentals of our economy remain strong."